So, at long last, I believe we are ready. This is Matt Clare, and I'm here with my buddy Mark Wick. And welcome to Common Sense in Black and White. And so, Mark, how you doing today, man? All right, okay. So, real quick, let me tell you what the show is going to be about. This is the premiere, and what we're going to do really is we're going to discuss things that are unscripted. We don't have a script in front of us, and we're just going to talk about whatever comes up. Now, by that I mean not just silly stuff. I'm talking about things that really matter. As a, for instance, sometimes we might go into talking about racial issues, but the whole idea behind it, and if you'll see, I'm black, Mark is white. There's Mark. Well, I'm going to get rid of this because I don't need that. Um, so what you got to understand is the whole idea is for us to talk about things that matter. Mark and I, we usually agree on things, but not always. Sometimes, we might agree on things, but maybe we differ in the way we go about getting to where we want to go. It's like taking the bus, and I'm gonna use the bus analogy because I drove buses for a lot of years. All right, I could be on a bus trip with another bus driver from point A to point B. He might want to take the highway. I may want to take the streets. And it doesn't really matter. We just have a difference of opinion as to how to get to where we need to get to. What is the best option? And so with Mark and I is going to be kind of the same thing. We're going to agree on a lot of things, but he's not going to be my yes man, nor am I going to be his. And so we're going to have a difference of opinion of how to go about getting to a certain point. So that's kind of the gist of it. Now, what I also want to do, and I'm going to let Mark talk in a minute, but what I also want to do, I want to edify Mark. Mark and I have been best friends for a long time now. I've known him about 25 years. We started out frequenting a common basketball site, and then through that we became business partners. Mark is nodding his head in approval of what I'm saying, and that became a friendship. And so his background is journalism, mostly photojournalism, but he's also worked for some important outlets like AP, Associated Press, and a few others. I'll let him tell you more about that. But Mark is one of one, in my opinion. He is the best of the best. And, I put him right up there with my father, who was absolutely the best of the best. And I'm sure at some point I'll talk to you guys about him. But anyway, enough of that. Mark, do you have anything in particular you want to talk about? First of all, tell them a little bit about yourself that I didn't touch on. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah, 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 yeah. This is true too. This is true too. Yep. Yes. Yes. Yeah. We hope we get more than one, Mark. Don't even speak that into the universe. My goodness. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Well, wait a minute. Why just talk about some things that we have knowledge about? We can always talk about things that we don't have knowledge about and just sound stupid as hell. That's always that's Mhm. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Okay. But what's that old say? I didn't hear it, I don't think, until you said it. We the unknowing, led by. You remember that? Uh, we the unknowing, led by the unwilling. If anyone's watching this and you know what I'm talking about, please drop me a line. Either at M3 TV YouTube. You could drop me a line at Max Sanchez Claire on Facebook. You can also drop Mark Wick a line at Mark Wick on Facebook. Uh, and I'm gonna tell you all now. Uh, Mark is clearly the more intelligent of the two of us. So a lot of times I will defer to him because I have a tremendous amount of respect for his experiences, his knowledge, his wisdom. Let me say that again, his wisdom, and you know, you, we can all learn a lot from a guy like Mark Wick. I promise you that. So, okay, I'm gonna kind of open this up. I'll talk more about myself later. I actually maybe Mark will do that later because I'll be a little bit uncomfortable with it. But one of the things that I do want to talk about, you know, it's it's no secret that uh, race relations has been an issue. It's no secret that there's been a lot of religious issues in the country. Um, I want to go right to the whole political thing because I think that is front and center in relation to those other things I just mentioned. We all know that we have a volatile situation right now. Never mind the mess in Iran. All right, that's something all to itself. But right here in the States, we have trouble getting along because, in my view, there's leadership that has created a lot of strife, a lot of stress, a lot of hatred, if you will. And it's not that hatred began when Trump took office. I'm not suggesting that at all, because I believe there's been hate even way back after King got shot. It's just that a lot of folks out there, and we know who we're talking about, a lot of folks out there, they kind of quieted down because they kind of knew that if things kind of jumped off afterward, that another group of people who were affected by King's assassination, that they might be, getting a real upheaval. And then, who knows what would happen after that. But then what happened was nobody really, said anything when George Wallace was around because George Wallace didn't have the clout that Trump has. All right. He didn't have the following that Trump has. And for those of you who don't know who George Wallace was, I'm not talking about George Wallace, the comedian. George Wallace back in the 70s and I think the 60s, he was an Alabama governor who did not like black people. And what happened to him? Well, he got shot and he was paralyzed. I promise you, if you don't know, it wasn't a black person who shot him and paralyzed him. It was a white person. Okay. But, I'm just kind of telling you a little bit about who he was. But back then, he didn't have the following that a guy like a Donald Trump has. Now, we have survived George Wallace. We have survived Bull Connor. We have survived David Duke. We have survived, folks like that. And then along comes Donald Trump. And he spoke the language of a lot of prejudiced white folks. All right. And he kind of gave them a license to really speak their mind. And, as they say, FAO, and a lot, I mean, you say certain things to folks and you're going to find out. So that's where we're at right now. I don't like the violence on any side, but I do feel like there comes a point where you have to stand up for yourself. In America, if you're not prejudiced, if you don't have hatred in your heart, If you disagree with what's going on right now, this is the time we have to join together. I don't care if you're black, white, polka dot, you know, we all got to come together and let this administration know because it's not just Trump. And I think Mark will agree with me on that. It's not just Trump because you got a lot of folks in there, like I said, who have followed him, who have carried his water, done his bidding, knelt at the altar. And believe me, they have kissed more than his ring, you know. Uh, and I think that they could, I don't know if they can all fit up there together, but I'm sure that somebody's up there looking for polyps. It may not be Mitch McConnell in his current state, and we know it's not Lindsey Graham in his current state. But there are folks, Marco Rubio, Ron DeSantis, to name a couple, uh, they're still up there searching for polyps. So, Mark, give me your state of affairs right now. Here we go. Okay. Yes, I do. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Mark, you not to cut you off, but there are those who would look at us. They would refer to you, and I'm putting the camera on you now. You know, white man. They would refer to as a cold potato, and I'm putting the camera on myself now. They'd refer to me as damn near burnt potato. Oh, I agree. I agree. I Not everybody. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, one other thing, folks, and anyone who's watching this of a certain age knows this to be true. The entire world is watching us. The entire world is watching. They're laughing at us right now, I think. You know, Leaders of different countries, they are disgusted by what's going on here because the United States was always the beacon, for others. It was the place where people look to for hope and freedom and things of that nature. You know, the biggest issue I have with the US, man, listen, we used to aspire to be great. Now that's a word that Donald Trump likes to use quite frequently. And you know, what about us is great right now? What about us is great? I want, and talk about a challenge, Mark. I challenge anybody to tell me right now what is great about this country with all the issues we have. And it's not just the relationship between, dark and light people. It's not about relationships with different religions. It's not only about, any one or two things. It's everything about us. What is so great about us? You know, and I'm okay. Yeah, I'd like them to give us bullet points. I mean, go ahead and, like I said, send us a message either on Max Sanchez Clare or uh, 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 Mark Wick on Facebook. All right. And tell her, and by the way, there's two Mark Sanchez Clare Facebook pages. They're both mine. One I don't use. The one you want to send to or subscribe to is the one with the black silhouette on a white background. Okay. So, yeah, I want people to tell me what in their mind makes America great right now. Now, I understand that there are countries out there that don't have it as quote unquote good as we do in certain areas. But what is good about America right now? Relationships are not good, whether we're talking about race or religious. All right. Our so called leadership is in the crapper, to be honest. All right. There is no leadership. And by the way, I'm going to say this. When I say there's no leadership, I'm not only talking about Republicans or conservatives. I don't even consider myself a Democrat. I consider myself an independent, but I'm more liberal than conservative. All right. But, leadership is lacking from both sides. And I think Mark will agree with me. Leadership is lacking on both sides. All right. On the Republican side, nobody has stepped up to the mic and said, hey, Donald Trump, this is wrong. And even the few who've done that, like a Susan Collins, who only votes a certain way when it's safe for her, all right, like this most recent vote, she voted safe. She voted a certain way because it was safe for her right now. She knew that there were going to be enough votes to favor what Trump wanted in terms of getting this idiot confirmed, Todd Blanche. Okay, so you know we've got to stop being yes men to try. I'm certainly not a yes man. Mark isn't a yes man, but we've got too many yes men and women in Washington D.C. right now. And even the Democrats, they get a little pushback. They say this is wrong, you shouldn't do this. And then there's always this talk about the 25th Amendment. There's talk about, taking him to court for this, that, or the other, and so forth. This man hasn't paid not one bit of, he hasn't paid for any of his crimes. And I'm using that term loosely right now because I'm not even talking about the 34 felony counts. I'm not talking about the E. Jean Carroll rape. And yes, I said rape. Some judge said sexual assault, I think. No, it was rape. Let's call it like it is. Okay, so we've got to get leadership together. We've got to get people in there on both sides who are not afraid to call it like it is and say, Don, this is wrong. I don't call him. Uh, I don't put that p word in front of Trump. I never address him as such because he ain't no damn president. He thinks he's a king, but he's just a troublemaker is what he is. And I could use stronger words, but I want this show to, and I think Mark agrees with me here. I don't ever want to use ugly language, salty language, because I want this to be a show where parents, I want y'all to feel free to bring your kids in front of the TV set to listen to us. I don't, and I know Mark, I don't think Mark has ever cursed a day in his life, probably. But you haven't cursed, have you, Mark? Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. They earned it. They earned it. They did something or said something to set Mark off. And I will tell you folks, I'm gonna get real close to the camera. Mark Wick doesn't curse. Mark Wick doesn't curse. If you get Mark Wick to curse, you did something to really deserve it. Now, I'm going to back away from the camera and put my glasses back on because I also want to tell y'all. Now, I said I don't think Mark has cursed a day in his life. Truth of the matter is, I haven't cursed ever. I've never said a curse word. And that, my friends, is a damn lie. All right. So, yeah, but I mean, we're joking, but I was very serious when I said if you're a parent listening to this, I invite you to bring your kids in front of the screen. Let them listen to the. I mean, in fact, I'll say it again. The guy you want to pay attention to is the other guy. It's the guy over there. All right. I'm telling you, he's the one you want to pay. Huh? Who? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, we do. Mhm. That makes sense. Yeah. You you're right about one thing. They don't know it, but they are great teachers because what I like to say is that dogs or any animal for that matter, they don't know prejudice. They don't know prejudice. Uh, and yeah, I'll even go a step further. I'll say when you're first born into this world, you don't know prejudice. It is taught. It is taught. It is taught. And I'm saying I'm repeating that, several times because I want the adults who are listening to this to understand what you say in front of your kids does matter. What you teach your kids does matter. If you're a black parent with a black kid and you're only hanging around black people, that matters. I mean, you want your kid to have a healthy understanding of the black culture, all right, and in black history and all that, all right. And I'm sure that the white folks and Hispanic folks, all right, I'm part Hispanic and I'm part black, all right. I'm part African, by the way. I'm so mixed up. I don't even know what the heck I am at this point. But my point is, my point is, you know, Uh, and I'm going to shift to something else now. You heard what I just said. I'm a little bit of a bunch of different things. I'm even 2% south of France, if I remember correctly. So you tell me, I challenge anybody. Well, I know we've given a lot of challenges today, but I dare anybody to tell me where it makes sense to have your different prejudices against this group or that race or that. Because I'm going to tell you now, if you haven't done ancestry, go ahead and spend $100 or whatever it is, swab your mouth, take the test, and I promise you, if you thought you was only white, there's a good chance you're going to find out that you got a little black in you, or you got a little Hispanic in you, or what have you, or Italian, or Russian, or German, or whatever. You're going to find out you're not as pure as the driven snow as you think. And for those of us who are black, we're going to find out something. I just mentioned south of France. All right. Uh, you might find out your background is a little bit of Johannesburg. Now, I got something for somebody out there. Somebody, this is going to hit somebody hard. If you're from Johannesburg, South Africa, which is predominantly white, and you move over here to the States, and you have a child in America, he's born in America, doesn't that make him an African American? Now, never mind the fact that I don't like the term African American. Well, I don't like it when it's applied to people like me, black people. I don't like that term. Just call me black, and I could get into the whys and why nots at a later time. But if you have a child here and you're from South Africa, but he's born in the United States, what does it make him? It makes him more African American than I could ever be because I've never been to Africa. Yeah, I got 22% Nigerian. I get that. But really, I'm talking about y'all for a minute. Y'all who hate us. Y'all hate us. And, you know, if I asked somebody why, they probably couldn't give a good reason, but y'all hate us. You hate African Americans. I hate African Americans. I hate them people, whatever you say. Well, you might find out that you have relatives from Johannesburg and their children were born here. I ask you again, what does that make them? What does it make them? It make okay, yeah, human, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yes, you just hit on something, Mark. I was talking to somebody the other day. One of the phrases that I'm sure you hear as often as I do. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. And that sounds wise. Don't judge me. But I got news for you. You better judge other people because you are going to be judged by the company you keep. And so I've made it a point, and I know, Mark, this goes for you too. I have made it a point not to hang around junky people. I refuse. Now, having said that, I'm going to tell y'all something else about me. I don't eliminate anybody from my life. They eliminate themselves. How do they eliminate themselves? They eliminate themselves by their prejudice against white people or black people or a certain group, gay or what have you. All right? That's how they eliminate themselves because I came from a place of love. All right? Uh my parents were loving people. I have a loving sister who admittedly uh I didn't realize all these years just how truly loving and how wonderful she always has been. I'm only understanding that now, the last several years. All right. But I come from a place of love. And it wasn't just my mom and dad, it was the people that they were around. We had aunts and uncles who were not aunts and uncles, but they treated my sister and I like we were theirs. They treated us like we were gold almost. All right. So that's my background. And so I've had people tell me, Mac, you're too kind. You do too much. I don't know if that's the case. I don't agree with that. I don't know if there's such a thing as being too kind. But I'm my father's son for sure. And, one thing that man did was invest in people. And who do we want to first be like? Who's the first person that we want to be like? If you're a girl, you want to be like your mom, typically. And if you're a boy, you want to be like your dad. Well, Mark has heard me say this before over and over again. I'll never be my dad, but that's a whole nother story. He just raised the bar too damn high. But we've got to be okay with judging people, and we've got to be okay with deciding, okay, this person is for me or this person isn't for me. And I mean, I won't hang around no junk. I refuse to hang around junky people. So if you've got hate in your heart, if you've got any malice toward a particular group, I'm not saying you can't say I dislike this person. I'm talking about groups. I mean, I know there are people who dislike me. All right. Uh, I don't worry about it so much, but there are people who dislike. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I realize that. But if you say, I don't like a group of people, I don't like people like Mac, this blanket of people, no, you get out of here with that mess. You know, uh, find find somebody who will have a real good talk with you about how to treat other people, how to love. I say that my father is in heaven right now. I say he's teaching the angels how to love. But here on earth, I'm not really sure that anybody can teach you how to love after you're a certain age. You either learn at an early age by the lessons that you're taught from your parents and the village that is around you, or you don't get it because when you get older, it's hard to learn that. It's hard to learn because you've been brought up to hate Republicans, or you've been brought up to hate Catholics, or you've been brought up to hate gay, or whatever the case may be. You know, so Mark, I agree with you 100%. We have to choose our words carefully, and I still say it is perfectly all right to judge other people because, like I said, we will all be judged by the company we keep. If I'm hanging around with thugs, people are going to associate me with those thugs, and they're going to think I'm a thug, right? So there you have it. Yes, we do. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. All right. So I'm gonna close with this. Mark did talk about judging by character, and we mentioned the word character several times today. I want to close by saying Mark is a character. Mark has character, but Mark is a character as well. So I just wanted to put that. And you know what? Present company included. God knows I'm a character. And if you don't believe me, ask my girl. Oh, really? Well, you can ask Mark, or you could ask my girlfriend Annette, or you could ask my sister Shelly. You could ask my cousin P. Oh God, the list is too long. But there are a lot of people who will say I'm a character too. So it's all right. It's all right. Okay, we really do have to wrap up. From Mark Witt, this is Matt Clear saying thank you for your time this time. Till next time, be blessed and please remember to do something nice for somebody and choose